I'm Connie Moser, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Knights at the Round Table. My guest this evening is Stacia Kelly, author, member of Right by the Rails. Stacia, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
I'm just going to let you tell your story to me. I won't ask you a lot of questions occasionally, but you can pretty much tell me what you would like.
I can do it, just start all anywhere.
Just start at birth.
Start at birth and go forward. Okay, I can do that. I'm a writer, local writer. I have been born and raised here in Prince William County, so I'm one of the few that are native, and so I've been writing since I was 3. My mom has that first story. She did say that she found it. She hasn't given it to me. She found the Peter Cottontail one, though, and that one was fun. I handed that to my son.
She's saving that for when you're nationally famous?
I guess, and she could embarrass the heck out of me about aliens landing on, in Woodbridge.
Is that what it was about?
I think it was, and I actually incorporated the old horse farm that was over there by Home Depot.
I know exactly where you're talking about.
You know,
I think there are some real stories over there to be told.
Yes, there probably were. I think that was also where the old airport was, if I recall correctly.
I think that was a little farther over on Old Bridge, but it is in that same vicinity.
Okay. Yeah.
And I actually think the horse farm might have been a pig farm.
No, it was horses. I remember sitting out there watching them.
Yeah.
Where Mama Wilson's was. I used to sit out there and watch the horses. They were great. Entertaining for an only child.
No siblings?
No, just cats. But my mom counted the cats as siblings.
Oh, okay.
They were, I guess, a handful enough to take care of, too.
So you always wrote?
I did. I even wrote during high school instead of paying attention in geometry class. And,
Yeah, nobody did that.
Yeah, I didn't really. You gave me the answer already. What did I want to do with the middle part of it? But no, I wrote my first young adult novel, full length. Hand wrote that during my junior year of high school.
Wow.
And so I finished it up that summer and have been progressively trying to get it typed into the computer since then. I'm trying to read my handwriting and transcribing it. It's only gotten worse over the years. But so then I went off to college to study writing and came out, but I went into IT business and did technical writing instead because you have to pay the bills.
That's so not creative, though, is it?
Great. User manuals are just, okay, step by step by step by step, but I did learn to move into proposal writing, so that kind of gave me a little bit better.
Oh yeah,
gave me a strong background.
You could be creative in that.
Yeah, writing it, but it was better than writing it processes and policies. I was being able to do a little bit more storytelling as far as narratives and those kinds of things about projects that have been done. So I kind of fell in love with that, and editing. That's where I learned to do all my editing and all the layout and design stuff. So I can do everything from write it to edit and the rest of it.
That's cool.
Yeah. So now I hire a copy editor to go through and do my line edits because you miss 70% of your own errors on average.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I go back and I look at it and I'm like, man, I missed that too. And then I have a cover artist, a great cover artist who does all my covers now. So both nonfiction and fiction.
So when you say all your covers, how many covers are we talking about? How many books are we talking about?
We're talking about, so there's 9 Months In, 9 Months Out was the co-written with Corey Matthews, Sheila Kirkbride, and Angel, Angel's going to kill me, Miller, flaking on people's names. And that's a nonfiction, it's Holistic Health for Moms, and that is both ebook and print. And then I released my first fiction piece in 2012, which was Phyxe, Goddess of Fire. And that one's only an ebook format, but I did all the work on that one, and so she did that cover. And then I have Reduce You, which I have this one right here.
That's it. Always hold the book up.
Always hold the book up. So I have Reduce You and Focus, which is one for writers to get over their creative blocks. Actually, that's Muse. Focus is the workbook for the martial arts students. So there's quite a few out there floating around.
So do you write full-time, or you have another job?
No, I'm also a health coach. So my PhD is in holistic health, so I do fitness, nutrition, and stress management, which is kind of where the Reduce You came in. So I do a lot of coaching with clients for weight loss and nutrition. And I got tired of repeating myself, so I put it all in the book. I'm like, here's the book, you try it, you read through that first, and then we'll get started.
I bet you're really good at that because you have a very calming influence.
I attribute that to my mother teaching me to meditate when I was 12.
Oh.
And so I just carried that through. Make sure I keep that up. to date because it helps a
See,
lot.
I'm fascinated with that because I'm a totally spastic personality. So
I have got several friends. They're like, I just like calling you and talking to you because you just seem like
you do. You
calm."
kind of center people.
Mhm.
That's really very nice.
I did
Except
it.
I forget what I'm supposed to be doing.
My friend Corey said, she goes, I can't call your voicemail anymore. She goes, I do, and it just, she goes, it calms me right down because you're using your hypnosis voice. And I said, well, I am, because I'm talking slowly and softly to make sure people understand, don't leave me a message.
Is that part of this therapy?
Mhm,
The
mhm.
hypnosis is part of the therapy?
I call it stress management. So I'm
Mhm.
teaching people to breathe to lower their heart rate. I teach everybody from 3-year-olds on up, so I stop temper tantrums. My son knows to do it too. You'll see him do this little in and up, out and down with his hands. And if I ask him to help me teach one of the other kids, he goes through the motion
Uh-huh.
and does it too.
Wow.
Yeah. So we do 90 seconds. I actually did it. It was funny. We had a bodybuilding show on April 20th up at Woodbridge Senior High School. And I was backstage with the girls, and they're all nervous because they're all in high heels and getting ready to go out on stage. And they're not wearing much, and they're all tan, and they're all shaking like this. And I said, hey, guys, how about you all do me a favor? Let me teach you a little technique I teach everybody. And Corey said she wished she had a video camera because you could see the energy level just come right down. And they all just calmed right down.
Wow.
I was like, it's just 3 deep breaths. That's all it takes.
Because you also do physical or training also, right? Weight training and...
Weight training, martial arts.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
You do so much, I don't know where to start. They are all connected, though.
Mhm, mhm.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny. If you look at it, there's a reason for everything, and it came all back in full circle.
Uh-huh.
So the writing, when I went into the IT stuff, was, so you can afford to pay for your writing. You're not going to make a big deal bestseller right off the block. So I went into that kind of writing to kind of fund everything else.
Uh-huh.
And then the holistic health, I am allergic to all antibiotics, and I was afraid I was going to pass that on to my son, and I did. So I went for my PhD studies, rather than going still into writing, I went into holistic health. And so it still carries through all the way.
So your whole family is involved in all of these disciplines?
Most of them, yeah. Now, I do have Goddess of Earth coming out this year, but then there's a new series called Urban Samurai series. I've been co-writing with my husband, and we're on book 3 of that series. So those need to get out too. Those covers are done. Once you have a cover, it kind of makes you feel like you got to get finished. And last year, the only one I got out was Reduce You, and I really was trying to get one fiction and one nonfiction piece moved out.
Uh-huh.
But the Reduce You really was for my clients and helping them.
And are you having good sales with that, or?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
One of the things is that if they come coach with me, I just give them the book. Amazon Create Space is a phenomenal tool to make your print ones,
Uh-huh.
and they're not expensive at all. So it's been very easy to use it as a marketing tool too.
How do you get those books published?
Amazon's Create Space.
Oh, that's the name of it.
Mhm, mhm.
Oh.
Yeah, so instead I do Kindle Direct Publishing with Amazon, and then Create Space, you can only sell through, I believe you can only sell through Amazon, but I can order my own copies and
Uh-huh.
resell too. So that's what I've been doing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have attended several sessions of the writers group Right by the Rails, but I'm not, I can't seem to work it into my schedule on a regular basis.
Mhm.
I'm always behind. They're I guess because they're writers, they're very prolific at
Yes.
continually getting email and notices, and
Mhm.
we're doing this and we're doing that, and I know they have lots of workshops and things like
Yeah,
that.
they're trying to build more of those up. I know when they do their Thursday night meetings, I have office hours at the local Kairos office where I do the health coaching.
Uh-huh.
So I can't really do the meetups on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Uh-huh.
But when they do a Saturday thing or they do an event, then we try to be there and hand out books and stuff. And it's great. You can even leave your books with the other authors, and they'll sell them for you if you're gone.
Wow.
Because June did that for me at the Hilton Performing Arts one, when they had all the vendors out.
I love that they're non-competitive. I mean, everyone is
Mhm.
supporting everyone
Mhm.
else. I
They-
love that group.
Yes, they are amazing. And the
Mhm.
fact that they're just getting together and, okay, so you guys want to workshop on this? Okay, let's do that. I'm like, okay, great. And it's all different types of writers. It's not fiction. It's not just nonfiction or historical or anything like that. It's everybody. And there's people just starting out, and there's people who've been multi-published.
Mhm.
So it's a good group.
I was kind of surprised that when I was young, authors were you could go your whole life long and never meet anyone
Mhm.
who was called an author.
Right.
And I think now there's like 167 members in Right by the Rails.
I think so.
Mhm.
I think so.
And to know that there are that many talented people, and that's just that's just what we know. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm sure there are plenty more. I hope they all find us.
Yeah.
But it's just so interesting to know that there are that many people that choose to write
Mhm.
and can do so.
Mhm.
Some of us want to write.
It's finding the time. You know what finally got me back to it was I left when I got out of college. My mom let me stay home for a couple months because I had gone through pretty quickly,
Uh-huh.
and nobody I knew was home because I graduated early. So she gave me a couple months off for the summer, and I sat down and I started working on my first contemporary romance, which is still not done, but it was very cathartic to sit and do.
Uh-huh.
But I let it kind of slide, the writing slide, until about 2005. I found NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month.
Uh-huh.
And it was a challenge. It's 50,000 words in 30 days. Now, it seems like a lot.
It does.
And if you haven't done it before, it seems horrible. Well, I found it in 2004. Well, I broke my shoulder in 2005 and couldn't really go anywhere anyway. So I sat down and I was typing like this because I couldn't move my shoulder, so I was typing like this. Finished it in 2.5 weeks. And that's where Phyxe came from.
50,000 words in 2.5 weeks?
With broken shoulder.
I have to tell you, I do a column every week, and it's about 600 words maximum.
Mm-hmm.
And I find myself thinking, gee, what am I going to write about today?
I have those issues with blog posts sometimes too, and articles. And one of the things that we did, so 2004 I failed miserably at it. 2005 I succeeded, despite of myself, because I was typing kind of crooked. And then I let it sit. So trying to get it, so from 2005 to 2012 was how long it took me to get it published. And then once you get the first one out, it was amazing. It's like, okay, I can do the next one. It's okay.
So do you always have books in the works?
Mhm.
You're always working on the next one?
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in edits right now. So
I feel so inadequate.
It's just, once you got it done, it was like, oh, I can do this anytime. And what we did was, a group of us would jump online at 1 o'clock in November, and Skype or IM or whatever, and at 1 o'clock I'd say go, and everybody would type for 15 minutes. And no interruptions, no nothing. They'd type for 15 minutes, and at the end of 15 minutes I'd say stop in the chat room. And everybody would post up their numbers. No, didn't have to share your work, it could be gibberish. You could have written the word desk 7,000 times. But it had to be forced writing. And so
You didn't happen to go to Catholic school, did you? Because it sounds like something we might have had to do.
But it forced us to get over the fear of the blank page. And so
I see.
we had a bunch of, some people were only getting 200 words, some of us were getting 1,000, in that 15 minutes, but it forced you to knock it out.
Uh-huh.
And you weren't allowed to go back and edit while you were doing it. You just had to, just type it all out. And it helps getting it out. You do 2 of those a day and you meet your word count for the day.
So do you counsel people for that too? Or just...
Oh, for writing?
Mhm.
Yeah, I've done that too.
Mhm.
We've done that. Well, Muse actually helps them. I have relaxation sessions in there to help you relax and kind of get over the fear of the page and talk to your muse and how to set up your office so that you're a little bit more comfortable, what tools and resources are out there. I learned really quickly with Phyxe. I think that the main reason I was able to get her edited and off my desk was Scrivener, the software for novelists. And because every time I tried to go use Microsoft Word for it, I ended up back at the beginning of the book, and I'd never get past a certain page count. And so with Scrivener, it lets me break things into chapters and note cards and outlines and all the things that I never used before. And it made me keep to the timeline.
I'm sure it makes you a better writer to be organized in that way.
It does, it does. And what I did with Itchy, the book 1 of the Urban Samurai series, I actually had to go build a timeline because she's a 1,000-year-old demon samurai hunter. And so I had to go all the way back to Tomei Gozen, who was the original female samurai, which is who I was trying to tie her in with, and track her all the way to current day and what was happening in all those. So that forced me to fix the book, too, because I had to go back and timeline her story for the current story.
What is your favorite thing you've written so far?
Oh, I don't know. I have fun with all of them. Phyxe was fun, I guess because I was injured at the time and I couldn't do anything, and she was being feisty. I was pouring that into her being feisty. And then Guy and I wrote while I was kind of rebuilding myself after the accident.
Mm-hmm.
So I was feeling stronger and going back to weightlifting, so she's a lot more earthbound and very physical. And shapeshifts into a tiger, so that's fun. And then, but the co-writing's been interesting too because it's been forcing me to maintain one character's head. So that there's none of that head hopping between characters as much. And learning to use.
I'm going to assume that's not a literal literally.
Right. Right. But what we've done.
It's fantasy, not horror, right?
It's urban fantasy, so yeah. It gets I have to watch it because he likes to write horror, and so I tone it back because the people aren't going to want to watch it or read it. And so, but we learned that when we're co-writing, that to use Google Docs, because you can write real time and see each other and not overwrite in the scene or anything like that. So if we're doing a scene together, it's been fun. Challenge. It's a challenge because the voices are totally different.
So, did you want to talk more about your profession or?
The health coaching?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've been working on that a lot lately too. I left the IT world when my son was 2. I still freelance with it. You know, people come, my sales guys come back and say, "Hey, can you help?" I'm everybody's OCD about something. I'm OCD about documents. So, and they love it because I don't stress out on a proposal deadline. They're like, "You're not stressing out." I'm like, "No, that's the training kicking in." But the health coaching is really a passion. I want to help people get healthy and have energy, you know, to do the things they want to do. And they keep teasing me like, "Well, what are you focused on?" I'm like, "Look, you have to have long-term goals. I'm planning on taking up fencing when I'm 80. That's a goal.
Good for you.
So that I maintain my health and keep going in the right direction there." So, but yeah, I do a lot of counseling. We do nutritional planning, teaching people, even teaching kids to read labels. You know, I've gone into the schools
That's
to
a
help
really
with
good
that.
step.
And my son this morning decided he pulled out the bowl, he pulled out a cup, measuring cup, and he poured out a single serving of a cereal. I was like, okay. And he'll flip over things at the grocery store to look for the sugars, because that's where I have him focused, is on the sugars, because I don't want him bouncing off the walls.
Well, it's such a problem. I think childhood obesity is if you start there, you'll have so many less problems down the line. But it seems to me we're a little bit behind the curve.
We are, and what's happened is that the parents' nutritional planning for themselves has actually changed their DNA. So they've already set some of their kids up for failure, or a longer haul to get it. But I'm horrified by seeing some of these parents walk through. These kids, they're 8 years old and they have a big gulp in the mall. And I'm like, I know that's not water in there, but they just downed, their body weight in soda.
Well, I think we're exposed to chemicals. There's so many, so many of the foods that we eat are chemically enhanced or genetically improved, or they've been fed hormones or some combination of chemicals.
Well, like cows and chickens are not supposed to eat corn. They're supposed to be eating grass and bugs, the chickens.
Yeah. Well,
but they're in some of the videos we've seen and some of the movies that we've seen from behind the scenes stuff. I'm like, it's just
I know.
repulsive.
Are you a vegetarian?
No. I
No.
tried.
Yeah.
I tried. I do more paleo, so it's more proteins and veggies. Limiting the grains as much as possible, working more towards seeds and things like that.
I just read recently that wheat bread is one of the worst things you can eat because it's not really wheat anymore. It's not.
Right. Yep. I go for Ezekiel bread. It's sprouted grains when I need it, so it's pretty good.
Do you limit your carb intake or
just the grains and the pastas, the rices? There's some things. We replaced our pastas with miracle noodles because they're the fibrous part of a mushroom.
I don't know what that is.
Most people don't. You can look up miracle noodle.
Okay.
They ship in these little packages. They're water-based, but they're fibrous parts of the mushroom, so they're pure fiber. No calories, no fat. So, but they fill you up pretty well. And you go for your veggies.
I don't suppose you put a big pat of butter on there, do you?
No.
No.
But honestly, if you're going to use butter, use real butter and not the fake stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just better for in the long term. It's going to be better for your body if you're just going to swap it out.
It's interesting that maybe 25, 30 years ago, when people started becoming interested, really chemically interested in losing weight, and suddenly there was maybe it was longer than that, but the people were using amphetamines. It was the advent of
The fat-free stuff.
Yeah,
which was
Splenda
downfall.
And everything all at once. They couldn't produce enough new things for you to try to lose weight. And yet it's so obvious that all we've done is get bigger and bigger and bigger since that advent. And I have to wonder if there's not some financial incentive.
I'm sure there is.
If it really worked, if those things really worked to make you thin, then those people would all be out of business eventually. So I don't know why we can't get the logic in that it's just a game.
It is. It's a big company numbers game, you know.
And I think it's dangerous because I think a lot of cancers and other health diseases are becoming more and more
We're not
prevalent.
dying from scurvy and rickets anymore. We're dying from cancer. And, you know, that's why people are like, well, can we get all the nutrients we need out of our foods? I'm like, oh, heck no. Have you seen what they've been doing to our foods? Even though, I mean, we're trying to go more organic, and you're hoping that it is what it says it is, but you're still not going to get the same nutrients because the soil's not the same anymore. So do you supplement? Yeah. Vitamins and minerals and anything else I can, you know, any way to enhance it.
Even that, though, is risky because you may be taking, you know, a multivitamin from one company that hasn't been, and who knows even if it's regulated, if it doesn't matter if it's regulated, if it's the wrong
Vitamins
thing.
are regulated as food, not drugs. So there are 3 brands out there that are top of the line based on like the consumer reports of vitamins. And USANA Health Sciences, Da Vinci Labs, and I believe the third one's Creating Wellness. And so those are the ones that I always steer people towards. I of course have my own product line that we use for us, which is USANA. And those are the ones that I saw the difference with. After all the bodybuilding years, I was testing myself with all the GNC stuff and then, you know, everything else that was out there. I just wasn't seeing the same results that I wanted. And then when I started with so I test on myself because I can't recommend them if they're not doing what I think they should be doing. And the first 3 days, my husband looked at me and goes, "What are you taking?"
Wow.
I was bouncing off the walls. And I just had all this energy, and I was feeling great. And you know, the other night when we had those horrible thunderstorms, I felt like somebody had taken a knife and stabbing through my palm with the arthritis. So I go and I take what I'm supposed to take, and about a half hour later, I'm like, oh, I can move again. Okay.
Wow. That's
So,
impressive.
you know, you're not supposed to say it cures anything, but when I start feeling better and I know that was what I took, then, you know, I
think
lean
that's
towards that.
It's really, the future is actually going back to the past. I think it's what's ahead of us is to learn how to farm again and how to grow our own food again and how to be less dependent upon government regulation, because that's really pretty much got us where we are.
Well, we've been seeing what's been going on just in the last few days with
Salmon.
Yeah.
Have you been following that?
Yeah, it's not. I haven't gone and looked at that one yet, but it's just crazy what they've been doing with foods, and you're like, oh, okay.
Well, I don't want to keep you here all day, although I probably could. But is there anything else you'd like to talk about before you go?
No, I think we covered everything. Health coaching, writing, all that fun stuff.
Okay, well, I would like to invite our readers, anybody that's interested in nutrition and health and wellness. Stacia has a host of websites, and we're going to put them all on the screen, I'm pretty sure. And thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
see you again soon.
Yes.
And thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. Please be with us again next time when our guest is Nyasha Sproul. Thank you very much.